The secret to building capped delts isn't about genetics or heavy presses. It's really about how you train. And that's what I learned after 150 plus shoulder days. So I'm going to talk about it in this video. So a little background, basically when I was training shoulders, I felt like shit. My shoulders would always hurt and I hated it. And my shoulders weren't big and I was a loser. Right. So in this video, I want to talk to you about how I solved that entire issue. Sorry about the notification. I solved that issue and what you can do, because I really believe that I cracked the code to building capped shoulders. And, probably some other guys too on the internet probably have too. Like, I don't think building shoulders is really rocket science, but I want you and I want my other subscribers to understand how you can build capped delts. So let's get into the video. So first, I want to tell you a little bit about me. I've been training for about 11 years. I've been doing this for 11 years. I've been training since I was 15. So I have general fitness knowledge, and I'm just sharing that on my channel because I work a 9 to 5. Like, I'm busy as shit. Like, I have to, like right now, I make all my videos within a single take so that I can basically like live my life. My life is just busy and I still manage fitness. So my channel is all about managing productivity, fitness, and it's really just for fitness for beginners, because a lot of you guys, you're probably a full-time student, a full-time dad, a full-time mom, you got a full-time job, and you're full-time stressed the fuck out. All right. So what my whole thing is that I've been lifting since I was 14 and I've never not had a job since I was 15, since I was 16 years old. Okay. If you look at my hands, this is years of experience. This is just years of me doing shit, working out like I have a mental problem. And the reason why I had this physique is because I'm just a gym rat at heart. We all have stuff to do. Some of y'all nurses, some of y'all paramedics, some of y'all fathers. You probably have some stuff going on in your life that prevents you from hitting the gym. And what my goal is that I'm removing all the analysis paralysis out of the gym world, because you probably go online, you look at a bunch of routines and you're confused as fuck. You look at all these YouTube shorts and TikToks about this is the best routine to build your shoulder. This is the best routine to build your biceps. And you try this Jeff Nippard workout and it burns you the fuck out. And then you go traveling and then you ruin your split and then you ruin the flow of things. Listen, I've made all those mistakes. If you want to just not get an arrow in your back and learn from somebody who already has a bunch of arrows in his back, this is the channel for you. So let's talk about the first point, and that's to stop relying on military presses. Military presses is not going to get you big shoulders. It's not going to make your shoulders look bigger. Why? It's because military presses are for two reasons. One, they focus more on the front delt, okay? Especially if you're doing them right. And secondly, they're a compound movement. So let me focus on the first point. When it comes down to military presses, people think that military presses, you're straight up and you go like this. Does that make any sense to you? Does your shoulders go straight up like this? No. For you to fully extend, your shoulders have to come out forward a little bit. This fully extensive motion right here is not targeting the lateral head. It targets the frontal head. You can feel it. If you use common sense, there's a dog playing outside. There's two dogs fighting outside right now. It's funny as fuck. If you just use common sense and you raise your hands like this, right? What do you feel? You do not feel your lateral head activating. You feel your frontal head activating. So why is that important? It's because what makes your shoulders look 3D, it's not your frontal head. It's the lateral and it's the rear head. Second point, it's a compound movement. Compound movements, if you use common sense and you understand the term compound means that there's multiple localized muscle groups working to complete a motion. That's the bench press. No, people don't know this, but the bench press is actually a compound movement. It's using your chest, your triceps, and your back. The squat is a compound movement. It's using your hamstrings, your glutes, and your quads. So it's like you have to know that compound movements aren't going to get a muscle group big. Compound movements are good for overall strength and core stability. They're good. And I always have compound movements in my workouts and my splits. Don't get me wrong, because I'm just a man. But you need to use movements that isolate a muscle group. So military presses don't accomplish that because they're compound movements. They use a bit of the back, the frontal delt, the triceps, and other things too. Every movement kind of uses a muscle group, but there are other movements that are better than others. And that's what we're going to talk about with the next point. My next point is actually have a dedicated shoulder day. You need to have a dedicated shoulder day. So what most people do is that they do a push, pull legs, and then they'll probably have like an ab day, right? This is the big brain shit that I did, and this is what you need to do. You need to have a split, right? Let's assume you're doing push pull legs or upper lower. Cool. This is my philosophy. You can make up any split you want to. I worked out for 11 years. I didn't even understand the concept of splits after 7 years into my journey. I genuinely think that I'm probably like one of the fewest people that have the gym brain that I have now. People, like, I would go to the gym, I would look like this, go to the gym, and people would ask me, oh, what's your split? I'd be like, what the fuck are you talking about? I just hit the muscle groups I want to hit within a week. I didn't make a split, okay? So eventually I did adopt a split, and that was the push pull legs. That's what I liked. And what I learned about the push pull legs is that it was like push muscles, so your extensors, your shoulders, your chest, your triceps, and then the pull day, which would be your back, your bicep, probably your lats too, and then your leg day, which is obviously legs. I said, fuck that. What I do is that I do push, pull, legs, shoulders. I separated my shoulder day from my push, pull, legs day, from my push day. That's what I did. So what that did is that allowed me to focus more on shoulders with more intensity, because the thing about it is I did this for two reasons. You focus on your muscle group with more intensity, and secondly, you have more time, because like I said in my little intro there, I have a full-time job. I've always had a job since I was 16 years old. I've never not worked. All right, period, except for that one time during COVID when, the economy was pretty fucking shit. But even then I was like doing DoorDash. Okay, I've never not worked. We just don't be having time to be doing all this shit. I don't have time to be in the gym for no 2 hours. Okay, I'm not an influencer. The money that I get is by doing my job. So with that being said, I had more time I always ramble and forget my point. The 2 points is that I have more time to hit my shoulders. When I try to hit my shoulder day on my push days, what would happen is that I have to shorten the amount of workouts that I could do for my shoulders, because I've already hit my DB presses, I've already hit my inclines, I've already hit my tricep workouts. So that's 4 workouts minimum that I've already hit. Now I have shoulders to worry about, but it's already been an hour and some change. I only have 30 minutes to do stuff for my shoulders. So I'm stuck doing the two main workouts that Jeff Nippert or some other guy on the internet told me to do, which is like military presses and lateral raises. And then I was already fatigued because I already hit my triceps and my chest. So I can't really reach my full potential with those workouts. So this to solve that, you want to make sure that you're working 4 days a week and just make one of those days a shoulders day. And that's what I do at my advanced level. Maybe because you're a beginner right now, you can do more days a week, but it's up to you, because you don't have to worry about doing too much volume if you're still in your noob gains phase. So not to harp on this point too much, but having a distinct separate shoulder day really does help a lot, because then you can do more shoulder workouts. With more recovery, you can give your shoulders more damage with giving it more recovery time, and you can be more intentional on that day. And I honestly think that this has helped me make my shoulders stand out more than anybody else. The fact that I do push, pull, leg, shoulders, because I literally would have a guy walk up to me and say, hey, how did you get your shoulders like this? And I just say, oh, like I just do these 2 workouts, which I'm going to talk about in a minute. And then they're like, oh, what's your split? I say, I do push, pull, legs, and then shoulders. And then they're like, what? A lot of guys don't think about separating. And this is just a tip in general. If you want to build a stronger muscle group, separate it from your split. If you want bigger biceps, have a push, pull, legs, biceps split. You can do that. So just think about that. The next point is that I prioritize lateral raises and rear delt flies, especially rear delt flies. These movements are the isolated movements that isolate your muscle and make them look larger. Okay, these are bodybuilder movements. These are not compound movements. Lateral raises and rear delt flies. So that's the main thing. I don't think there's too much that I have to say about that. Just make sure you're doing them right. And especially, I'm going to talk about lateral raises first, and then I'm going to talk about rear delt flies. When it comes down to lateral raises, you need to do them right, and you need to make sure that you're getting the right contraption. And the reason why lateral raises with dumbbells, I'm going to say with dumbbells specifically, in my opinion, are really, really good, is because you're fighting gravity and you're forcing your muscles to exhibit control. So when you're doing them, I'm not like a bird doing this, okay? I don't know what this stuff is. You want to kind of have a slight hunch and have like a slight bend in your shoulders and then do the raises like this, it makes me have more control. And I always do like 8 to 10 reps with the lateral raises. When it comes down to rear delt flies, this is what actually blew up my shoulders the most. Aside from having a distinct shoulder days, spamming rear delts and falling in love with rear delt flies is what made my shoulders look so freaking amazing. I promise you. I promise you. It's the rear delts that people always ignore. There's two variations of the rear delt fly. There's the seated and then there's the lying down one. But rear delt flies, when you make sure that you get the right contraption for rear delts, that's what's going to make your shoulders grow. And the thing about getting the right contraption is that people think that with rear delt flies, it's like this. No, those are your traps. I feel it right now. My fucking rhomboids are activated right now. This is not a rear delt motion. It's more like this. This is a rear delt fly when you're coming back like this. I've seen guys online saying, when you're doing rear delt flies, make sure that you're completely lateral. No, that's not how your rear delts are striated. You want to come back almost at a 45 when you're doing your rear delt flies. So when I'm doing them, I do them either seated or I do them lying down. And that's my next point. You want to make sure that you're doing the right variation that works for you. It's about the mind-muscle connection, bro. Trust me. Do you want to do them seated? Then do them seated. Do you want to do them lying down? Then fine, do them lying down. Find the one that works comfortable for you and just spam them hoes, bro. Just spam that shit. And that's pretty much it for that point. Make sure you do the variation that works for you. It's not rocket science. I tend to do both, but if someone put a gun to my head and said, you can only do one variation for the rest of your life, I would do the lying down ones. I do the one where I have the bench at like a slight incline. I'll lay down, chest on the bench, and then I pick up the weight and I go back like this, right? And that's what made my rear delts pop off. Don't be afraid to choose variations that work for you. Even with the lateral raises, let's take a step back. Even with the lateral raises, right? If using the machine works for you more, that's fine. I'm saying with these two variations, use the dumbbells because they force you to have more control. Any bodybuilding movement, if you're trying to build your body, bodybuilding hypertrophy, dumbbells. Dumbbells, in my opinion, are the best for hypertrophy. I don't really give a fuck what anyone has to say. Anyone else, other things can work too. I don't mind, that's fine. But dumbbells for chest, dumbbells for upper body, any upper body movement for hypertrophy dumbbell. I use dumbbells for traps. I would use dumbbells or plates for neck. You know, I don't really care. Dumbbells are king because you have to exhibit more control with the weight. That's why. And this is my last point. And you need to progressively overload. Okay. And I know that I zoomed past these points because this is probably like one of the longest shoulder guides you ever watched on YouTube. Most shoulder guides are like in 7 minutes. Maybe I can become a better speaker for you. But I want to get through all these points because I want you to truly understand the whole point of everything that I'm trying to say. Progressive overload still applies. You probably went on Reddit or you probably went online and someone tells you do lightweight, do high rep, right? So you probably go up to 12 reps. Some of you assholes do 13, 14, 20 reps. Don't do that shit. I'm telling you right now, it's a waste of time. I remember I was in the gym one day and I asked this guy, man, this is when I already had pretty good delts and stuff, but I just kind of wanted to get more advice from other people. Not advice, but trying to like see how other people sort of work out. And I talked to this guy and he gave me advice. He said, bro, just do super high rep, really low weight. You know, sometimes I go up to 20 reps. And I took his advice. I wasted my fucking time. It was a complete waste of time. You don't need to do 20 reps and no damn lateral raises and no rear delt flies. What you need to do is stop being a bitch and overload. That's what you have to do. This is why I think my shoulder training style is different from everybody else's and why my shoulders have actually seen significant growth. Why any of my muscle groups see significant growth. It's because I force my muscles to grow. You have to have this mindset where you force your muscles to grow. And I'm probably going to have a separate video about this all in itself. Force that joint. What I mean by that is I overload the weight. You do that by overloading the amount of weight that you do on these bodybuilding movements, meaning lateral raises and rear delt flies. When you're doing your lateral raise, do 8 to 10 reps, then add 5 pounds. Do 8 to 10 reps again, then add 5 pounds. I've gotten to the point where I have picked up 40 pounds with my rear delt, with my lateral raises, and I would do 8 reps and my form would fuck up and then I stop. People were gonna say, oh, that's manifesting a shoulder injury. It's not if you do it right. If you can keep your form correct and keep control and keep the same amount and overload the weight, you're good. Once you get to the point where you feel like your form is messing up, when I could only like go like right here, that's when I would stop. And then I would continue, and then like I would drop down in weight. You have to overload the weight because most guys, when they train shoulders, when you train shoulders, you probably think, oh, I need to go light, light, light. No, no. When it comes down to any workout, when it comes down to any routine, the only time you should go light is when you feel like you need to rehab your muscle, or you're on a deload week, or you need to work on basically strengthening the tendons of the muscle and warm up. Otherwise, if you're trying to get the muscle to grow, do not go light. Even with hypertrophy, I say don't go light. Even when I say hypertrophy, and the reason why, I'm not saying pick up heavy weight and do more reps. That's not what I'm saying specifically, is that you still need to overload. Like the muscle building in general is overloading yourself. It's challenging yourself. It's adding more weight onto your body to see if you can take it. That's it. So if you don't overload with your shoulders simply won't grow. And what I would do is I would do 8 to 10 reps with both my rear delt flies and my lateral raises. And I would just keep adding weight, overload the weight, and keep the reps within the 8 to 10, even maybe 12 rep range if you want. Oftentimes I don't do 12, but keep it around 10, and then just keep upping that weight. And I would get heavy. I would get heavy until I could not do 8, and then I drop down. And that's how I build my shoulders. That's how I got them so strong. I got to the point where I'm doing rear delt flies for 50 pounds even. I'm doing 50 pounds, and that's why my shoulders look so good, because you may be so focused on doing lightweight and you're getting a whole bunch of sarcoplasmic adaptation, and your muscle may swell, but then to a certain point, it's not enough stimulus and you're wasting time. There comes a point where you're doing so many reps that it's just a waste of fucking time. You want to overload that weight. You want sarcoplasmic and myofibril adaptation. You want your muscles to be larger and dense. Your muscles will get larger if you're doing 10 reps. They're gonna get larger, but you wanna make sure that you're increasing the density of that muscle and forcing it to grow by adding more weight. And I think the main points that you wanna get out of this video is, yes, you know the workouts to do: lateral raises, rear delt flies, and you can still do military presses with your workout, but I recommend that you emphasize more on the other two, because those are the bodybuilding movements that are going to get your shoulders large. But give yourself a distinct shoulder day. That's number one. And number two, progressive overload. You need to fucking overload your shit. Overload that weight specifically. Trust me, a lot of guys online are going to tell you, oh, yeah, I do 20 reps. Bro, if anyone says 20 reps to anything, bro, just click off. Just hang up on them. Just click off, because it's a waste of time. Do 8 to 10 reps. Go hard and push yourself. Overload that fucking weight and eat more, okay? And then once you overload that weight, you can do like a drop set and go lighter and weight and stuff like that. Maybe since you're a beginner, you can go lighter, do 12 reps, but no more than 12 reps. And if you want to learn more and you want to get like a specific routine and get like more guidance and principles like you see in my free content, you can check out my program, top link in the description. It's all about maintaining your fitness life while you also are juggling a 9 to 5, while you're juggling all this other shit and everything, and trying to build your physique and maintain productivity. And also I have bonus modules about how to take good pictures if you want to be successful on dating apps and whatnot. You can check out my paid program, top link in the description. But you know, if these videos are valuable to you, just stay tuned. And if you want to learn more, go ahead and click on this one. Goodbye.